Okay, very good morning. So today we will be discussing about helical gears, the introduction to helical gears, how to recognize this right hand and left hand, and what is the difference between this spur and helical gear, and different means terminology used in case of helical gear and how it is different from spur gear. So these are the things that we will be discussing today. Helical gears. So the basic introduction that we have about the helical gear is the teeth are cut at an angle, and in other way I can say that the teeth are inclined, and the angle it is called at the helix angle, the angle made by the teeth with the center or axis of the shaft. We will call it as the helix angle. So if you can refer the figures, see figure number one, then the adjacent figure, so you can clear cut see that the teeth are cut at an angle, and it is clear cut indicates that this helical. So see here also what is the type of teeth it is cut. These are the some examples of helical gears. Now, before going for this detailed introduction, let us see how to identify the gear is the right hand or left hand. So, place the teeth helical gear on a table, then appearing to be leaning. Leaning means it is inclined to the right or inclined to the left. So, we can easily identify that type of gear as uh, I can say right hand or left hand helical gear. So, and another method is also there. So, if I say here, this is the right hand helix and this is the left hand helix. Now, one more thing I will give you. If I will draw a center line, to wait, approximately if I will draw a center line, then I will extend the teeth. So if I will extend the teeth this from right hand side and they are matching, so I can call this as right hand helix. The similar thing I can go on this side and I will see here now. Assuming this is like some center line, and now see if I will extend this angle psi. So this is left hand helix. So this is the generalized thing. Just there are two things. The if I will put a gear and it is appearing leaning to right or teeth towards right and teeth towards left. So this is the one side, one thing. And if I will draw a center line and I will extend the teeth, then on which hand it is intersecting, on which hand teeth it is intersecting the axis. So this is, I will call it as, this I have taken from my right hand, and this I will call it as left hand. So this is one of the very basic things about identification. Then this is the second one diagram given in which we can identify. So here the same thing is there, pinion right-handed helical teeth and gear with left-handed helical teeth. So same things are shown, and actually while doing this exercise, you have to take the teeth on same side. So that is important while identifying. So in this way, you can easily identify the pinion with right-handed teeth and pinion with left-handed teeth also. So this is very basic thing. Now let us start the basic introduction related to this spur gear, helical gear, and helical gear, and what is the difference between this spur and helical gear. We have in detail study about the spur gears. So now the in spur gear, the teeth are cut parallel to the axis of shaft. See, the teeth are cut parallel to the axis of shaft. In helical gears, the teeth are cut in the form of helix on the pitch cylinder. Teeth in the form of helix on the pitch cylinder. And they will make at an angle. That angle we can call it as the helix angle. So this is the first very basic difference as far as the terminology is concerned. In spur gears, the contact between meshing teeth occurs along the entire face width of the tooth, resulting in sudden application of load, which in turn results in impact condition generates more noise. So we will split it in different four types. So if you consider spur gear, at the teeth are cut at an angle, teeth are cut straight, not at an angle. Therefore, impact load, direct, you can say line contact is there, and along the entire face width, the teeth are meshing each other along the entire face width. So this is a line contact resulting in sudden application of load. One teeth is applying the load on the other, and which in turn is giving the impact condition and generate the noise. So these are the four things mentioned. First, line contact is there along the face width, and due to this line contact, it is resulting in sudden applied load. There are different types of load. So gradual applied load, sudden applied load, and impact conditioning load. And due to the sudden application of load, impact conditions are there happening there, and this will increase the noise at high speed vibration. So this is the, so we cannot, this is the limitation of spur gear also. We cannot use the spur gear at higher applications. If the higher, more and more higher RPM and higher speed conditions are required, this clear cut indicates, implies that we have to go for helical or any other type of gear. There are limitations to use the spur gear at higher RPM. So this is very basic thing. Then in helical gears, now let us see. In helical gears, the teeth contact between meshing begins with a point on the leading edge and gradually extends along the diagonal. So this point we can see. So at the teeth are cut at an angle. Let us take this point. So if this point will come in contact first with another and then gradually increase, the load continues, and this I will call a one, where the contact start I will call it as leading edge, where the contact ends I will call it as trailing edge. Trailing, trailing edge. So it is the last point. So the contact is starting at one edge, the contact is ending at other end. So there is a gradual, this condition, what is it giving? No sudden application of load. The load is starting at one point and extends gradually along the diagonal line. So this is a gradual pickup of the load. This condition gives here the gradual pickup of load, gradually applied load. So if the load is not sudden, it will result in definitely smooth engagement, and smooth engagement ultimate quiet operation at higher speed. So quiet operation means in uppercase more noise. So here less noise or very negligible noise. I will not say no noise. Depending upon the conditions, some noise may be there. But as compared to spur, we can call it as quiet application. And these helical gears are used in, therefore these gears are used in automobile turbine and speed application where up to 3000 meter per minute it is mentioned. So very higher application we can use the helical gears as compared to spur gear. Spur gear having its limitation due to the sudden applied load and impact condition generating higher, more noise at higher speed. It is having certain limitation. Therefore, when we want to use the gear at higher application, we have to go for helical gear. So this is the basic difference between spur and helical gear. Now let us, there are again two more types. So generally whatever examples we are observing, there are all are with parallel helical gears only. So what we will be discussing, it is parallel helical, but there is also one more type, it is for crossed helical gears. So parallel helical gears operate on two parallel shafts. In this case, the magnitude of helix angle is same for both the pinion and gear. However, the hand of helix is opposite. The right hand pinion meshes with left hand gear and vice versa. This should be there, otherwise if both hands are same, definitely they will not mesh. For meshing condition, one hand should be left, one hand should be right, then and then only they will mesh with each other. So parallel and cross helical, the gear is same, but they are mounted on shaft with crossed axis. So I will say this condition as non-parallel, non-intersecting. In the first case, it is parallel. The shafts are parallel, non-intersecting but parallel. In second case, non-parallel, non-intersecting. All things are same. So see here, parallel shafts are there, one right hand, one left hand. In this another case, the axis is totally different, crossed helical gear. So they are neither parallel nor intersecting. So this is the application of crossed helical gears. Now friends, let us move towards this terminology. So there are different terms that we will be discussing in this and how these terms are coming and what are the different dimensions that we will go in detail and further if required. I will give you some time for drawing these diagrams and writing this expression also. And if further required, if time permits, we will go for the next point also. So here in this case, terminology. So as we have already discussed the terminology of spur gears, if we say, then there is a face width, then there is a module, then you can say pitch circle diameter for pinion, pitch circle diameter for gear, number of teeth on pinion, all things are there. And all these things are expressed in terms of module. But in that case, there is no helix angle concept and the teeth are cut parallel. Therefore, the terminology of spur is different. Now here, the teeth are cut at an angle and let us try to correlate this terminology with the terminology of spur gear or whatever standard formulas are there that we will take and we will proceed for deriving the further expression. The conventional representation of pair of helical gear is shown in the figure. Hand-ox helix is also shown. So here some guidelines are again given. The hand on the helix is indicated by drawing three thin continuous lines on the gear. If the lines are sloping downwards to the right side of the page for right-handed helical teeth. See, whatever I explain in this case, if you see, if these are inclinating downward and again towards right side, I will call it as right. And the lines are sloping upward to the right side of the page. These are lines are sloping upward to the right side of the page. I will call it as left hand. So this is again terminology given. So based on this, we can identify whether the gear is right hand side or left hand side. So once again, I will repeat. If the lines are sloping downward towards right side, see, if the lines are sloping here downward, so sloping downwards towards right side, I will call it as right hand, and again sloping upward towards right side of the page. Page means here we are discussing about slide or board or whatever. So in this case, I will call it as left hand. So this is the terminology for this helical gears. And now I request you to draw the diagram also. So I will explain here and again in the next page broader view is there. At that time I will give you time for drawing it. So a portion of top view of parallel helical gear is shown in figure. So see that very first condition. This is the top view, whatever shown. So this figure, this is indicating the top view. Now there are two axes. Axis here, X, X. If the axes are cut like this, then what we will observe? So section at XX. So we will observe this section at XX. And if you see the teeth are cut at an angle, see here, I am showing by this line. So the teeth are cut at an angle. And if I will cut at a plane perpendicular to the teeth, see, if I will cut at a plane perpendicular teeth, y, see here, the plane is here, perpendicular teeth. Then I will get this section y. For spur gear, you cut in straight way or in other way, the section will be same. In this case, the section will not be same. Here it is mentioned alpha, here it is mentioned alpha n. So these are cut at normal. Therefore, we are using the term normal, and here transverse or circular. So here again P, pitch, and here PN, normal. The word is normal, and here P. So these are the some difference. So very basic thing that how this figure is cut that I have given you idea. Then now uh, we will go in detail. A1, B1 and A2, B2 are the center line of adjacent teeth. So what is mentioned here? See, this point is A1, this point is B1, this point is A2, this point is B2. So these are nothing but the center lines of adjacent teeth. See, this is one teeth. This is another teeth. And these are the center lines. So A1, B1 is center line of these teeth and A2, B2 is center line of the adjacent teeth. Okay. On the pitch plane, the angle A1, B1, A2 is the helix angle psi. The angle A1, B2, A2. So this angle is mentioned here. It is nothing but the helix angle and it is denoted by psi. Okay, it is defined at the angle between the axis of shaft and center line of tooth. So it is the axis of shaft and center line of tooth. In the initial figures also, I have given you clear idea about this helix angle. X-axis is the plane of rotation, while Y is the plane perpendicular to tooth element. So X-axis, it is nothing but the plane of rotation. And what is Y? Y is the plane perpendicular to tooth elements. Plane perpendicular to tooth elements. Okay. The distance A1, A2 is called transverse circular piece. See here. The distance A1, A2. So these two, this point, this is shown as P. Transverse circular piece, which is measured in the plane of rotation. Very important. It is measured in the plane of rotation. And the distance A1C is called normal. See now, which distance I am highlighting? This distance. So A1C. So this distance is highlighted as the PN. Normal P. It is measured in the plane perpendicular to tooth element. It is not measured in circular plane. It is measured in a plane perpendicular to tooth element. So these are the some of the pointers to give the heading terminology of helical gears. And now all the things I have explained, just draw the diagram. I will give you 3-4 minutes for drawing. Just to put a message over. Then we will go for uh, writing the tooth proportions one by one. So let me know after your diagram is over. So draw the diagram, give the heading terminology. The heading will be terminology of helical gears. So draw the diagram. let me know when your diagram is over so that we will proceed further for over. Put in the chat box. Okay, so let us proceed for this terminology. So from this diagram, if I say from triangle A1, A2, C, so I am considering this point as A1, this point as A2, and this point as C. So I am considering this triangle A1, A2, C. I am considering the triangle. You can see here in the diagram A1, A2, C. So cos of psi is equal to. So this is the right angle. A1, A2 become hypotenuse. So cos of psi is equal to A1C divided by A1A2. Cos of psi is equal to A1C divided by A1A2. But A1C is nothing but our normal circular page and A1A2 is our transverse circular pitch. So these both are circular pitch only. So I can write cos of psi is equal to A1C by A1A2 adjacent side by hypotenuse. So it will become Pn divided by P. So I can write Pn is equal to P into cos of psi. Pn is equal to P into cos of psi. This we are writing for circular pitch, where we have already written transverse circular pitch and normal circular pitch. So our Pn stands for normal circular pitch and P stands for transverse circular pitch. So if I have to convert into this diametral pitch, then I am having relation circular pitch into diametral pitch is equal to pi. So I will take this help with some and I will give you the idea. So we are having the relation. I will say small p as the circular pitch, capital P as the diametral pitch is equal to pi. How this is? How this is? So one is diametral pitch is 1 divided by module. and circular pitch is pi into module. So I can say here how it is coming. So circular pitch pi m and diametral pitch 1 upon m. So ultimately you will get the pi. Therefore, I can write here. These all the things just for your revision brush up I am taking. Circular pitch into diametral pitch is equal to pi. So now whatever relations we are having, this relation, for example, this Pn, it is the circular pitch and this P is also circular pitch. Circular, normal circular and transverse circular. I want to express these two into diametral pitch. So I can write here Tp is equal to pi. Therefore, small p is equal to pi divided by capital P. And again I will write this Pn is equal to pi divided by capital Pn. So this is the expression I am taking from this basic, from this. So here the direct answer is written. I want to give you highlight how it is coming. So I will substitute these two in this particular expression. No, not in this. So I will put these values. I will put these values in this equation. And how I will write then? Pn. So I will write here. It is nothing but pi divided by capital Pn. And P is nothing but pi divided by capital P. I am converting into circular into diametral into cos of psi. So again this pi will get cancelled, and if I want to write Pn, then Pn is equal to P I will take on another side. So P divided by cos of psi, and this is highlighted here. So this is the P divided by cos of psi. So Pn and P are the normal and transverse diametral P. So what we have done here, these are the Pn and P are the circular pitches that we have converted into this diametral pitches. Circular pitches we have converted into diametral pitches. So write down this. The conversion between circular to diametral pitch. I have explained in detail all steps. So it is mentioned here directly. Therefore, I have gone for some conversion so that you can easily understand how it is. So take 1 minute and okay. So if you are right to be over, let us proceed further. Then we are having diametral pitch is equal to 1 divided by m. Diametral pitch is equal to 1 divided by m. So here for if I will put 1 upon m and 1 upon m into cos psi is equal to, you will get mn is equal to m cos psi. So if I will put here the relations Pn, it is in diametral pitch. If I want to express in, so 1 upon mn, Pn normal pitch, normal module, mn is the normal module, is equal to P 1 upon m into cos of psi. So what ultimately I will get? I will get here mn is equal to m into cos of psi. So if we will substitute 1 by m, this expression I have given you, you will get mn is equal to m cos psi, where mn stands for the normal module and m stands for the transverse module. So here we are converting everything into normal because we have considered here section at transverse case and this section at normal. So why we are doing all these things? Very simple reason I want to give you. we are having all the formulas for spur gear, force analysis, beam strength, everything. So that all spur gear we have to imagine into helical gear. If at transverse, if you see from transverse side, you cannot imagine because the teeth are cut at an angle. But if you cut into to a plane perpendicular to the teeth, and if you imagine the spur gear at this particular perpendicular, so whatever you will get this view, it is nothing but it is like spur gear, and we can use all the formulas of spur gear here. Therefore, every time we are taking here normal module. So now in this case, mn normal module, and alpha n again here normal pressure angle, alpha transverse pressure angle. Okay, the distance a1 b2 is called axial pitch. Now see here, and the distance A1, B2. So this is point A1 and this is B2. So whatever this, it is the axial pitch from triangle A1, A2, B2. So this A1, A2 and B2 bigger triangle is considered. Tan of psi is equal to A1, A2 divided by A1, B2. Directly it is written. This is nothing but P, opposite side. This is PA. So PA is equal to P divided by tan of psi. So this expression is taken by considering the triangular trigonometric conditions for triangle A1, B2, A2. So you will get this as tan of psi is equal to P divided by PA. Tan of psi, this angle is equal to P divided by PA. Therefore, PA is equal to P divided by tan of psi. These all relations we will be using while solving the numerical. Okay, then I have given you idea. There are two angles, alpha n and alpha. So alpha, pressure angle alpha is the transverse pressure angle measured in the circular plane, and normal pressure angle, it is measured in the plane which is perpendicular to teeth element. So this alpha n is measured in the plane perpendicular to tooth element, section YY. So again, it can be proved. So here there is no expression, but it can be proved that this cos of psi is also equal to tan of alpha n divided by tan alpha, where alpha n stands for the normal pressure angle and alpha stands for the transverse pressure angle. In the numerical, normal pressure angle is may be given and normal module may be given. So this we have to keep in mind. Then now we will go for the finding out the pitch circle diameter. So we are using D is equal to mz. So I will use here D is equal to, we are having, I have to replace this m in terms of module. So this gives me, from this equation I will write m is equal to mn divided by cos of psi. From this expression number 3, I can say m is equal to mn divided by cos of psi. So that put here no module, I have to calculate the normal module. So I will say here mn z will be as it is divided by cos of psi. So it will become this diameter is equal to Zmn divided by cos of psi. While solving the numericals in the spur gear, we are substituting D is equal to Zm or Mz. Here you have to be careful. You have to put the formula for helical gear as D is equal to Zmn divided by cos psi. Otherwise, the further calculations may go wrong in this case. I will give you 1 minute for writing this. Okay, proceeding to next. Now center to center distance of two helical gear. So we are calculating the center distance of two piece circle radius of pinion plus piece circle radius of gear. So here we can calculate this. Center to center distance A, d1 by 2, d2 by 2, or you can say dp by 2, dg by 2, piece circle diameter for pinion divided by 2, and piece circle diameter for gear divided by 2. we are having diameter is equal to mn zmn divided by cos psi. So I will write here for your understanding. We are having diameter is equal to zmn divided by cos of psi. This formula we are having. So d1 z1 mn divided by cos of psi, d2 z2 mn divided by cos of psi. This two will be remain as it is. So we will substitute the value as for d1 as z1 mn divided by cos of psi, z2 mn divided by cos of psi, and now taking mn common, z1 plus z2 divided by 2 cos psi. So this is the numerical, this is the formula if you have to calculate the center distance, provided that number of teeth are with you, module is with you, and if angle is given, this psi, then helix angle is given, then you can easily calculate the center to center distance for helical gear. So this formula is important. And now the next point, the speed ratio I for helical gears is determined. Now I we are using here it is omega, we are using NP by NG. It is nothing but the ratio. And so what we are using, I is equal to NP by NG. Here it is mentioned, or it is also equal to ZG by ZP, where suffix P and G stands for pinion and gear. Suffix P and G stands for pinion and gear. So here now in short, within 1 minute, I will highlight few points. So this is the whatever shown. This is the view, normal view taken from upper side, and in this case, this is the top view, whatever is shown, and plane rotation. So plane of rotation, one section x-axis is taken, and section y is taken at the perpendicular when the two teeth are cutting at perpendicular. So here this P is the transverse circular pitch, Pn is the normal circular pitch, this alpha is transverse pressure angle, this alpha n is normal pressure angle. In this case we are calling it as a module. In this case when we are using, we are calling it as a normal module. Then terminology. So we have discussed in this case, we have expressed a relation between, from the figure we are getting a relation between Pn. So this slide I will explain. So we are getting a relation between this circular pitch Pn P. We have converted this circular into diametral, and this is the relation we have converted into diametral pitch. Pn is equal to P divided by cos of psi. And if I will substitute the value, diametral pitch is equal to 1 upon m. So Pn is equal to 1 upon mn, and P is equal to 1 upon m. So it will get converted. The module relation we will get the relation add for module. Mn is equal to m cos psi, or I will use m is equal to mn by cos psi. So here we are using the normal module relation m on mn. Then further axial pitch, Pa is equal to P divided by tan of psi, where P stands for the circular pitch, Pa stands for the axial pitch. Then there are two pressure angles. Alpha n is the normal pressure angle, and alpha is the transverse pressure angle. So the relation between these two can be expressed as cos of psi is equal to tan of alpha n divided by tan alpha. Then the diameter, we are having the relation for diameter. Generally, we are using this relation as D is equal to mz. So substituting m as mn by cos psi, you will get the relation each circle diameter is equal to zmn by cos psi. Then center to center distance between two helical gears, z1, z2. So it is nothing but pitch circle radius of pinion plus pitch circle radius of gear. So d1 by 2, d2 by 2. We are already having the relation D is equal to zmn divided by cos psi. I have substituted the values, and we arrived at this relation that pitch center to center distance is equal to mn into bracket z1 plus z2 divided by 2 cos of psi. And finally, I, the speed ratio is given by np by ng or zg by zp. So these are the bits. Now next, today we have discussed about this introduction to helical gear, difference between spur and helical gear, and We have discussed also about the terminology and how to identify the hand of helix. Now, next will be our virtual number of teeth we will go for, and then we will go for further pore analysis and related things.